Welcome to Math Plus, where math makes sense. The study of geometry is the study of shapes and their attributes. Most shapes are made up of lines. Not all shapes, because we have the shape of a circle or a sphere, but a lot of the shapes are made up of straight line segments. So in this video, we're going to learn about the three types of lines: perpendicular, parallel, and intersecting. Before we start learning about these three types of lines, let's define what the picture or the icon of a line means. If we draw a line and we have a point on each end, that's referring to a line segment, meaning just a part of a line. If we put arrows on each end of a line, that means that line goes on forever in both ways. So it goes on and on and on, but a line segment is just a portion of the line. Now, the three types of lines that we're going to talk about are parallel, perpendicular, and intersecting. So let's get started. First is parallel lines. Parallel lines are two lines that never cross each other. For example, on the road, you see the two yellow lines in the center. They go on and they never cross. Or maybe the lines of piano keys. If they would extend on forever, they would never cross. Same with a railroad track. The two lines here and here that the train rides on, they never intersect. They go on and they stay the same distance apart all the time. I think you get the picture for parallel lines. We see them a lot all around us. Perpendicular lines. This is a pretty easy concept too, but you just have to remember the word perpendicular. Vocabulary is what is very important in math. A lot of times you understand the concept, but you don't understand what they're asking because you don't know the vocabulary. So perpendicular basically means it is two lines that kind of act like the letter T. That's not a perfectly straight T, but they cross perfectly like a T or a cross. For example, in these windows, notice it makes like a perfect square if you draw that in the center. That's a perpendicular line. Same with this sign with the plus sign. That is a perpendicular line because they cross each other and form a T or a cross. Intersecting lines are similar to perpendicular lines, only they do not form a T or a cross. For example, if we look at these scissors and you draw a line here, see, you can see these will cross each other. Same with the lines on these roads. They're like, this line's going this way and this one's going this way, so they cross. Or look at the lines on this leaf. When it goes in here, it's crossing this line, but it's not crossing and making a perfect letter T or a cross. It's kind of slanted. Those are called intersecting lines. Okay, so let's review a little bit by practicing. Here's two lines, and if you can imagine them going on forever, you can see from the looks of them, it looks like they're never going to cross each other. So we would call these parallel lines. Now let's look at these two lines. You can tell if this keeps going and this keeps going, they are going to intersect. But they're not going to form a T, they're just going to intersect. So these are called intersecting lines. These two lines here, they are intersecting lines, but when they intersect, they form a perfect T or a cross. So those are special, and those are called perpendicular lines. So there you can see the three different lines. Let's try it one more time. If we look at this first one, these two lines, they almost look like a T, but they're just a little bit slanted. If you look closely, it looks like this is larger than this, so it looks like these are just the intersecting lines. The next one, notice this little square that is drawn right here in the middle, showing that forms a perfect square. That's a very key point to know that this is a perpendicular line. Anytime you see that little square inside of intersecting lines, you know they are perpendicular. And lastly, these lines, if they go on forever, they will not cross, and so those are parallel lines. Notice the word parallel. It has two parallel lines in it. These two L's, if they go on forever, they never touch each other. So that's a good little thing that will help you remember parallel lines. Lastly, we can identify the lines if we just look at a map of different roads. For example, over here it says Elm Avenue and North Street. We'll see if we can find, here's Elm Avenue and North Street is right here. So you can see those look like perpendicular lines because they form a perfect T. Then we have Main Street, which is right here, and Virginia Street. And Virginia Street is clear over here. But notice if these two streets went on forever, they would never cross. So those would be parallel streets, parallel lines. Number 3, Elm Avenue and Lincoln Parkway. Again, this is Elm Avenue down here, and Lincoln Parkway is right here. Look, it's crossing, but it's crossing at an angle. So those would be intersecting lines. Then we have Lincoln Parkway, which was right here, and McKinley. Now, I would suggest that those are probably perpendicular because since they form a perfect X, it looks like that's a square in the inside. So I would say that that is a perpendicular crossing. And then Main Street and Walnut. So this is Main Street and this is Walnut. And of course, it's coming right together as a perfect T, so it would be perpendicular as well. So look around you. See if you can identify perpendicular lines, intersecting lines, or parallel lines in your everyday environment.